为什么现在中国男人都喜欢娶外国媳妇呢？
In recent years, an increasing number of Chinese men have been inclined to marry foreign brides. This phenomenon has sparked much discussion, with people wondering if this means Chinese women are inferior to foreign women. Is this trend merely a display of worshipping foreign cultures, or are there deeper reasons behind it? I have a friend who works in the wedding industry. One day, he asked me to help him, and I was shocked by the scene I witnessed. On stage, there were 6 pairs of newlyweds, and all the grooms were Chinese men, but all the brides were foreign women. I was very surprised. After the wedding, I asked my friend about it. He told me that these Chinese men met their foreign brides mainly through introductions from friends. It is not that these men do not have the opportunity to meet Chinese women or that they are worshipping foreign cultures, but rather that foreign women have relatively relaxed requirements in marriage. They do not need a car, a house, or a high dowry, which are common requirements in Chinese marriages. In China, many women have high expectations for marriage, often requiring men to buy a house, a car, and pay a high dowry, and some even demand their names be added to the property certificate. These high demands make it difficult for many Chinese men to bear, especially if they have to divide assets in case of divorce. Even after marriage, if a man earns little, he is blamed for not being successful, and if he earns a lot, Chinese women may complain that he does not care about the family or spend time with her. On one hand, there is the unconditional enjoyment of a man's contributions, and on the other hand, women drink poisonous chicken soup and complain about men everywhere. This risk is hard for them to accept. My friend's explanation made me understand that many Chinese women now have excessively high expectations in marriage, which makes men lean towards finding partners without these additional conditions. These practical issues in marriage make many Chinese men choose foreign wives, as foreign women often admire the character and family values of Chinese men, finding them more considerate and responsible in the family. In contrast, many Chinese women have idealistic expectations in marriage. They want their partners to be handsome and cultured, know how to be romantic, and have a car, a house, and savings, while also providing them with thorough care. These unreasonable demands. Are you looking for a partner or a deity? That said, if you have such demands for men, what do you have to offer? Do you have a good income? How much savings do you have? Do you have a car and a house? It is precisely these unreasonable demands from Chinese women that lead more and more Chinese men to seek foreign wives. A house can be bought together by saving money, and a car can also be purchased together. You are not a beggar. Why do you demand so much from men? You only keep asking for more. Friends, do you think that in the future, there will be more and more older single women in China? If it were you, would you choose a foreign wife?
昨天收到了一个私信，让我不要抢中国的男人。
Yesterday, I received a private message in which someone advised me not to steal Chinese men. To be honest, I felt a bit helpless. Did I really steal a good Chinese man? Actually, that's not the case. I remember when I first met my husband, he was very candid and told me that his family's financial situation was average and that they couldn't afford a high bride price. At that time, I didn't really care about those so-called material conditions, because what I valued wasn't whether he could pay a bride price, but the person he was. So we opted for a wedding that didn't require a bride price, which was a practical choice for us. Later, we worked together and gradually built our small family step by step. Now some people question whether I stole a Chinese man, but I did nothing wrong. Back then, it was precisely because he couldn't afford a bride price that he chose me. And I accepted him and supported him. Is there anything wrong with that?
外国女人都跑中国来抢男人了。
Foreign women are now flocking to China to snatch men, especially since 2019 when the ratio of foreign marriages to domestic marriages reversed. Chinese men have become highly sought after in many countries. In their eyes, Chinese men are reliable, family-oriented, considerate, and loyal. The practice of monogamy, which is seen as a major guarantee of family happiness in some Southeast Asian countries, is especially appealing. For Chinese men, foreign women also represent a valuable option. They are not only independent and hardworking but also have relatively low bride price requirements, or in some cases, no bride price at all. Compared to the 188,000 yuan or 288,000 yuan bride prices demanded by domestic princesses, this progressive marriage concept is naturally more attractive. There have been online reports of a foreign girl named Natasha who married a Chinese man without asking for any bride price. This situation, which is supposed to be a mutual agreement between families, has sparked a lot of resentment from Chinese single women. These women have even angrily demanded that foreign girls leave China and stop snatching their men. They often require the man to own a house and car, provide a bride price, and be humorous, optimistic, and ambitious. The discontented women seem to overlook the reality. With over 100 million single men in China, how could foreign girls possibly be snatching the exact man they like? In response to such accusations, foreign women have not left but rather prompted some Chinese men to abandon their last hopes and seek partners in places like Nepal. In these areas, the average male salary is comparable to that of China in the 1990s, with a monthly income of 2,000 yuan considered middle class. Chinese men arriving there are seen as wealthy benefactors. As long as they are willing, there are almost no reasons for the locals to refuse them. This situation is reminiscent of the decades-old scenario where Hong Kong men outperformed mainland men. At that time, mainland people saw Hong Kongers as all being wealthy and well-off. They chose mainland women because they were dissatisfied with local girls' dual standards of being both independent and demanding financial stability from men. Due to Hong Kong's long-term Western cultural influence while still being rooted in traditional Chinese culture, Hong Kong girls had a contradictory mindset of wanting men to be both independent and financially well-off. Wise Hong Kong men thus chose a new path, marrying mainland women. Now, mainland men are pursuing more cost-effective marriage options. In essence, marriage is an economic transaction. In today's marriage market, which is in short supply, men actually hold the upper hand. If the conditions are too harsh, they will naturally shop around elsewhere. The current distorted marriage market indeed requires a reform by men.
上次拍了视频让中国男生去俄罗斯。
In my previous video, I recommended Chinese men to seek spouses in Russia because the living pressure there is relatively lower compared to China, and Russian women usually do not require dowries or substantial savings and have lower demands for marriage. As a result, I received many private messages from Chinese women criticizing me, saying, "You foreign girl, what are you doing? Why are you trying to take our Chinese men? We don't have enough of them ourselves." Oh, I understand now. I was wrong. I apologize.
外国女孩正在用廉价彩礼冲击中国市场。
In recent years, foreign women entering the Chinese market with lower bride price costs have sparked discussions about whether international marriage policies should be relaxed. Some argue that allowing more foreign women to become Chinese spouses could alleviate the marriage difficulties faced by rural men, as the domestic demands for bride price, houses, and cars make it difficult for many to afford, resulting in extremely high marriage costs. However, there are also many opponents who believe this could disrupt China's matchmaking market. Many men who have already married foreign women have come forward to say that foreign brides, especially women from Southeast Asia, are hardworking and have lower demands, making them a good choice for rural young men. This is because the domestic requirements for bride price, houses, and cars are extremely burdensome, making marriage equivalent to exhausting all savings and family assets. Marrying foreign women is a feasible option due to these high domestic marriage costs. In fact, foreign women marrying in China is not a new phenomenon. Many Chinese men have married foreign brides several years ago. Chinese men have a good reputation internationally for being hardworking, ambitious, and family-oriented. For Southeast Asia, a monthly income of 5,000 yuan is considered high, so these women have lower demands for living conditions and do not require houses, cars, or bride prices, as long as the man treats them well. In contrast, some Russian women's families even give cars, houses, or land as gifts during marriage. In China, due to the long-term excessive adulation of women by capital, some women's standards for choosing a spouse have become unrealistic, making it difficult for men with a monthly income below 10,000 yuan to succeed in the matchmaking market. Nevertheless, marrying foreign brides also comes with issues such as language barriers, cultural differences, varying dietary habits, and incompatible mindsets, all of which need to be carefully considered.
国家有关规定说，嫁到中国来的外国媳妇儿5年之内不能出去工作。
In the national regulations, foreign spouses who marry a Chinese citizen cannot work for 5 years, and obtaining Chinese citizenship is also very difficult.
Although I haven't looked into these provisions in detail, I see many women mentioning these regulations, believing that they are actually an obstacle for Chinese men to marry foreign women. They interpret these regulations as China not allowing or welcoming foreign women as spouses, viewing these clauses as restrictions against foreign brides. However, I think this interpretation is not entirely accurate. For instance, in the United States, if you marry a local citizen, you can obtain U.S. citizenship, and if your child is born in the U.S., they automatically acquire U.S. citizenship. In contrast, obtaining Chinese citizenship is much more difficult. If marriage could easily lead to Chinese citizenship, it would create severe loopholes, making it easy for ill-intentioned people to exploit the trust of Chinese men to obtain citizenship. These regulations are actually in place to protect local citizens' interests and to screen out applicants who do not meet the criteria. Regarding the rule that foreign spouses cannot work for 5 years, this period is just enough to handle family matters, such as having children and building relationships. You and your spouse can use this time to establish your relationship. After the child is born, you can also use this time to properly nurture the child. 5 years can be fully utilized for these purposes without the need to mandate foreign spouses to work. Moreover, foreign brides generally do not need to pay a bride price. You can use the money originally intended for the bride price to support your wife and child. This arrangement is entirely reasonable. To be honest, no one can stop you from marrying a foreign wife. It's your freedom to choose whom you marry. However, you need to understand that whether you marry a local or a foreign woman, the prerequisite is having a certain level of economic strength and foundation. Without money, it's hard to marry either a local or a foreign wife. In our group, many sisters have mentioned that Chinese men who want to marry Southeast Asian brides also need to spend quite a bit of money, at least around 200,000 yuan, with a significant portion going to intermediaries. Here's a friendly reminder to Chinese men. Many foreign women might already have husbands in their own countries. They might collaborate with groups to use marriage as a pretext to scam you out of your money. When searching for a foreign wife, you must be cautious. Do not naively believe that all foreign women adhere to professional ethics. Some may disappear after receiving the money, and foreign women can be very adept at scamming, even more so than domestic women. In the end, you might not even find out where they went. You'll only be left feeling regretful.
Marrying a foreign wife brings some obvious benefits. First, foreign wives usually do not require a bride price. In many parts of China, marrying a wife often involves paying a high bride price, which is a significant financial burden for many families. Marrying a foreign wife can avoid the pressure brought by this traditional custom. Secondly, an important benefit of marrying a foreign wife is the possibility of having mixed-race children. Mixed-race children often have unique appearances and are generally more attractive than typical children. This not only makes you feel proud but also earns the admiration and envy of those around you. Your friends, family, and even neighbors will consider you to have great taste and ability, as finding a foreign wife is not an easy feat. Moreover, marrying a foreign wife can significantly improve your foreign language skills, especially in speaking. The opportunities for communicating with foreigners will greatly enhance your language proficiency, which is beneficial for personal career development and social skills. Additionally, opportunities to travel abroad or visit relatives with your foreign wife will increase, broadening your horizons and enriching your life experiences. Currently, China's gender ratio is severely imbalanced, with over 30 million single men. Living without a partner is often considered incomplete, and this situation negatively impacts social stability and harmony. Marrying foreign women can effectively alleviate the single status pressure on Chinese men and help improve the gender ratio imbalance. Therefore, such marriages should be encouraged and supported to promote overall social harmony.
In China today, solving the problem of older single men in rural areas has become an urgent challenge. Recently, a professor from Xiamen University proposed a bold suggestion. He candidly mentioned that we should consider opening up international marriages, encouraging young men in China to look for brides from Russia, Vietnam, and Pakistan. As soon as this suggestion was made, it sparked a heated debate online. Some people support the proposal, believing that Vietnamese brides are hardworking and simple, which can save the cost of buying a house and car. making it ideal for a stable life. In rural China, many people earn less than 50,000 yuan per year, but wedding costs are often overwhelming, leading many to consider finding a foreign wife. However, many others disagree, arguing that language and cultural differences with foreign brides might lead to ongoing disputes. They believe that when choosing a spouse, men should not only consider cost but also compatibility. This debate continues with no consensus reached. In fact, I believe this topic need not be overly debated. According to the latest data from 2024, the proportion of Chinese men marrying foreign wives has significantly increased, with some regions reaching up to 90%. The reasons are simple. Firstly, the gender ratio in China is already imbalanced, and the surplus males need to find solutions. Secondly, the country encourages enterprises and individuals to go international, and many young Chinese people meet local women while working abroad, fall in love, and marry quickly. Finally, the high cost of marriage in China has led some to seek foreign wives, as the bride price has increased from the past benchmark of 300,000 yuan to 500,000 yuan. Many rural men have no choice but to look for foreign brides. So, why do Chinese men primarily choose brides from Vietnam, Cambodia, and Myanmar? The reasons are clear. These places have relatively small cultural differences, making mutual understanding easier, and their appearance also matches Chinese aesthetic standards. Moreover, the income levels in these regions are lower, so the living conditions in ordinary Chinese households are like heaven to them. Additionally, more and more foreign women are learning Chinese, which reduces communication barriers. Therefore, choosing a foreign wife has become a major trend. What do you think of this phenomenon?